How's it going, everybody? You can probably hear my dog Rivers in the background barking as our food arrives. We will begin in just a second. Wait for some people to get in here. LSU were absolutely LSU were bullied. LSU looked weak tonight. Weak play calling, weak in the trenches, weak mindset with everything. Everyone but Ty Davis Price, Kayshon Boutte, few other guys, there was not a lot to stand up and just cheer for tonight. Ty Davis Price, 147 yards. Fantastic from him. Just went off. Absolute biggest game of his career. By 12 yards, the biggest game of his career, even though a holding penalty prevented another 12-yard gain that would have given him 159 yards. Ty Davis Price was elite tonight, and it just shows. All the people were saying he's crappy, we need Corey, we need Corey. Why cut the throat of one player just because you prefer another? I mean, here's what he shows you tonight. When you just give him even a decent, just not even having 5 guys behind the line of scrimmage every time he gets the ball, he's going to absolutely make the defense pay. 147 yards against a really good rushing defense. He was all over the place tonight. Ty Davis Price, he was fantastic. Let's take a look at that rushing for Ty here. Let's see here. 147 yards from 22 carries. That ties for his career high as well from last season against South Carolina. 2 touchdowns, his career high. First multiple touchdown game. 6.7 per carry. 6.7 per carry. Very, very proud of TDP tonight, silencing some doubters, showing some people just what an absolute fantastic running back he is. He showed you a lot of speed and burst too. I mean, these weren't just him just pounding away. There was a lot of 9, 14, 30-yard gains going on, 12-yard gains going on. He was bursting through Kentucky constantly. Totally breaking it to the second level time after time after time. TDP, for me, that's LSU's MVP on the night, because outside of TDP and his 147 yards, LSU, it was a shocking display, an absolute disgrace to allow Kentucky to just shut us out for 3 quarters. When did we finally score? Let's look at that. When did we finally score? It was in the 3rd quarter, but it was very, very late. It was Ty Davis Price had the rushing touchdown with 3 minutes left. It took an 11-play, 78-yard drive, mostly from the legs of Ty Davis Price, willing us to try and compete, to pull us within 14 points. And it was just too late because we allowed 311 rushing yards against Kentucky. After about the 2nd quarter, I'm saying, our offense is completely screwing over our defense, putting them in bad positions with the fumble, setting up that first touchdown for Kentucky. But after that, our defense were just losing complete control of their gap assignment, just all over the place, just completely losing their heads, crapping their pants. And, I mean, Rodriguez just killed us tonight. Just absolutely killed us tonight. He had 147 yards himself. But you know who really killed us tonight rushing the ball? Once again, another quarterback. Another quarterback who has no license to be rushing against us like that. No way at all. And he had 11 rushes for 75 yards and 2 huge touchdowns against us. He had a 33-yard rush against us, Will Levis. A 33-yard rush against us. That is unacceptable. I mean, are you kidding me? There was one play where Will Levis spun Eli Ricks into the ground. There was a play where he was absolutely just torching Damone Clark. There was a play where he was running over Navontek Strong. You know, it's just bamboozling guys. And I think he watched some of what Bo Nix did last week and was like, okay, I could maybe do some of that. And I'm going like, Will Levis is doing this against us. No turnovers from Will Levis either. 3 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns against us. Oh, my God. Both Rodriguez and Smoke go for 100+ yards on us. 28 combined rushes. 8.7 yards per rush for Smoke, 9.2 for Rodriguez, 6.8 for Will Levis. I mean, they were running it right down our throats. That is a tired defense that has been playing way too much football over the last few games. Way too much football because of this ineptitude on our offense. But at the same time, there's absolutely no excuse. 3rd straight season we've allowed 300+ yards rushing to a team. Last 2 seasons we did that against Ole Miss. And now we allow Kentucky to shut us out for an entire first 3 quarters of a game. We allow Kentucky to run it right down our throats for 311 yards. The bar has dropped so far at LSU under the Orgeron regime, it is plummeting. We made Will Levis look like Michael Vick on NFL 2K3 out there. He's spinning guys into, I mean, inexcusable, woeful attempts to tackle everywhere. Just embarrassing gap assignment screw-ups. From the defensive ends to the defensive tackles, just everyone's getting screwed on the line. And then the linebackers are just completely all over the place. Yeah, sure, Damone Clark had another 14 tackles. Another tackle for loss. It doesn't really mean much where he's completely blowing assignments and guys around him are just completely just lost. Ali Gay looked like he broke his hand. You know, don't know what was going on, but he went for someone's face mask and whoosh, ricocheted against the guy's face mask. Looks like he broke his hand. And then you got Kayshon Boutte, who one of our only bright lights in the game. Let's see what he had. He had 8 for 73 yards. 8 targets. Caught all 8 of them for 873. No touchdowns for the first time this season, though. 0 touchdowns. And Boutte, 4 first down catches for us. 1 big 3rd down. 3 huge gains of 10+. He had a 17-yard and then a 37-yard brilliant circus catch that you can see on my Instagram. There at Lon Phillips Sullivan. There on Instagram. Did a disgusting catch, and it looked like he may have I don't want to say it, but it looked like an Achilles injury on his right foot. Looked like a right Achilles injury. His left ankle has been banged up for a while, but it looked like a right Achilles injury to Kayshon Boutte, which is just horrifying in just the context of everything. Just that he is one of the only players for LSU who is really standing up, kicking ass and taking names repeatedly, and is just an absolute joy to behold. And he goes down like this. I'm hoping it is nothing. I'm hoping he is fine, but seeing him carted off repeatedly in the medical tent, and I don't know what the hell Jake Peetz was thinking when this guy was already in the medical tent earlier in the game, and you continue to run the jet sweep. They had already figured out the jet sweep. They were right in our face, ready for it, pouncing on it, just completely smashing Boutte. You're just subjecting your number one offensive guy to repeatedly big hits every time. And we're losing 5-6 yards on the play. So you're not only hurting your guy, it's just unconscionable. And these hits take a huge toll when you're acrobatically making this brilliantly disgusting catch near the sideline. And just your muscles have been strained to the limit already because of these hits. And something like that happens. I hope I am completely wrong on the injury. I hope Boutte is 100%. But I just do not think that is the reality. You know, I think it's also a combination of the bad strength and conditioning that this team is undergoing, but also their nutrition. I mean, if you saw the footage where they're eating M&Ms and Snicker bars and Twix and all this stuff, the Twix is in my belly, Ed Ingram says. It's embarrassing. LSU putting on all the bling bling, looking all badass, going to the game, putting on these $1,000 shoes, these $5,000 suit jackets, looking all slick and badass, going up to Lexington in that jet. And they put that video everywhere. You couldn't have been more tone deaf. And right then, after a day where I had posted my prediction where LSU, I think they're smelling an upset here. I think the Wildcats are going to be hungover. I think I can feel an upset. I can sense an upset here. And then that's what happens. And it was all that was the biggest clue to me. That was the biggest clue. When that happened, I was like, oh, why did I do this? Why did I buy into this yet again? Why did I get suckered into this type of maniacal team again? I mean, this staff are just a joke. This staff are a joke. But more so, they're leading these players into horrible habits that have come to define some of these players' legacies now at LSU. There's a lot of fringe guys from the 2019 team who are now in positions where they should have been our leaders, and they're having their pants pulled down in front of the world, and it sucks. It sucks to watch. Comments, we got Drew. The UK Wildcats, yep. I call them the KU. Embarrassing them, calling them Kansas. They did not look like Kansas out there. They kicked LSU's ass. In fact, these teams are just they're giving us a dose of our own medicine we gave them in 2019. Every one of these teams, their quarterbacks are running on us. They're throwing for a ton of yards on us. They're rushing for a ton on us. And then our offense is just completely inept. Our defense has been put out there, hung out to dry way too much in the last few games. I mean, I can't even believe how many plays they've been playing, but it's all because of this ineptitude on offense. We just keep doing this check with me offensive scheme. What did we hear all week long from Coach Ed Orgeron? I want tempo. I want tempo. I want tempo. I want us to quicken it up. We hardly ever saw that until we were down 21-0. That was when we finally saw it. And we scored on that drive. Interesting. So it's like, Coach O, you say this, that you want tempo, that the team's going to provide tempo. Then if your offensive coordinator is not listening to you and he's not providing that tempo, I'm walking up to that booth, grabbing him by the collar, dragging him out of that chair, and walloping him in the ass with that clipboard and taking over his chair for him, and we're calling some tempo. That's what I'm doing. Coach Ed Orgeron, that's exactly what your edge would have been back in the day. You would have pulled something like that. You would have made sure. But is this what you've been all along? Is this the type of coach you've been all along? Allowing a team to be weak, allowing a team to be soft, allowing a team to be continuously beaten around, slapped around, having our pants pulled down, having our ass kicked in front of the world. Yet another humiliation, yet another disgusting defeat, yet another sacrifice before the SEC world. How much can we take? How much can the LSU fans take? This happened in front of Scott Woodward. This happened right in front of Scott Woodward's eyes. What does he think? LSU president was there as well. What does he think of the image of a lame duck looking Coach O, who just looked like there was no fight left in him? Clapping. Let's go. Clapping. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Embarrassing. At least they kept giving it to Ty Davis Price. At least they kept letting him go. All the people talking crap on Ty Davis Price look like fools tonight. Absolute fools. And we were right all along. We said he should be the LSU starter, and he proved why. And it just goes to show you, there was a statistic, and it continues tonight except for one crucial part. When Ty Davis Price gets over 15 touches, he gains over 100 yards, he scores a touchdown, and LSU won the game. Tonight, he had over 100 yards before he had 15 touches. He had 15 touches plus as well, but LSU did not win the game, sadly. And of course, he scored 2 touchdowns, his first multiple touchdown game in his career. He had a career night, 147 yards on the ground. Great game for him. I don't know how we couldn't control the game early with Ty. We kept just shuffling in running backs just with no rhyme or reason. It's like, okay, if you have Corey in the game, run plays that make sense for Corey Kiner. But no, they're running him straight up the gut like he's Mike Allstott. Like, what are you doing? Stretch it out wide. Pitch it wide. Do something. Run the option. Do something cool. Do something weird. Run some RPO stuff. Do something interesting with Corey Kiner. But then if, Armani Goodwin's in there, okay, give him the heavy dose, kind of up the middle, kind of some off-tackle stuff. Okay, that makes sense. But then with Ty Davis Price, they got the play calling right finally. They finally got it right with him. And it was just Ty, he showed a lot of creation. He showed a lot of vision where he's creating these holes as well. I'm watching some of those highlights back, and this offensive line, for once, wasn't getting bullied every single play with the first block. But this is still a lot of Ty Davis Price running absolutely making sure he can get past that first line. And once he made it to that second level, he was home free a lot of the time, because it was almost like this, wow, I'm not getting smashed back in the backfield for once. Must have been a great night, great feeling for him, except it was frustrating in the way that it couldn't help the offense create in the passing game. The passing game is what failed LSU offensively tonight. And we never were allowed to get in a rhythm in the passing game because of this lack of tempo. There was no tempo to the offense. It was so vanilla with the passing calls too. Where is Jack Bech just going on crossing routes? Every time the ball was thrown to Jack Bech, it was either underthrown or overthrown. And some of these throws were a little difficult. But Max has got to hit those. Max had a poor night. He had a poor showing tonight, and he's the first one to know that. It seemed like on every attempt to get Jack Bech the football, it just seemed like, even though Bech was running beautiful routes, it's just the combination of the lack of protection for Max, the combination of his willingness to quick. He seems to quicken his process and go through his progression far too quickly, thinking he doesn't have enough time because he's so used to immediately having to run for his life. And it's just the worst combination of elements. When the offensive line is finally blocking, you've got a quarterback who's so freaked out and desensitized to them never being able to block that he's rushing things. And so you've got this really two parallel horrible things that stem from the bad offensive line play. It was hideous. It was shocking, absolutely shocking. Max was never free to make any type of throw in the passing game. There were some throws he missed though. Not going to sugarcoat it. Max had a poor showing. This is probably his worst showing of the season. And we needed Max to have a big night. And I think the offensive line let him down. I think the receivers, there just was no play calling rhythm with the passing game. It just felt weird in the passing game, didn't it to you? I mean, I don't know exactly what to say about it, because it's like Max made some great things happen. But then, on the other hand, he absolutely missed some huge throws for us. But then at another time, it was like, why are we throwing this 1 yard route when like we need at least 3 yards here? We could have at least rounded like a 6 yard route or something. And Max underthrew it, not wanting it to get picked up high. It just was the worst of all elements, all combined. You had LSU, Ty Davis-Price had a great 9 yard run on first down. Okay, we're only losing 14-0 right here. A touchdown can get us back in this game. 2nd and 1. We pass it on 2nd and 1. Okay. And then, of course, we pass it on 3rd and 3, I think it was, because we lost a few yards from a jet sweep, I believe. And then, of course, we don't get it on third down or something like that, and then we have to punt. And we fail on the opportunity to get points before half. And we can't even run it on 2nd and 1 to the guy who just got 9 yards. Can't just give him the ball. It's embarrassing. It's ridiculous. LSUODYSSEY.com. We got a ton of great content coming at you. I know Tiger fans are going to be really depressed about this team, upset about this team, sickened by this team, and I get it. This was such a tough game to watch. It hurt to watch because the standards of LSU football have plummeted under Coach Ed Orgeron. and his complete and utter lack of leadership. This guy's just standing there. I don't know what Scott Woodward is thinking, except for we have to change this. This is not LSU. And it's just sad because, you know, everyone wanted Coach Ed Orgeron to be coaching LSU for life. He's a Louisiana guy. Push the right buttons, hire the right guys, create like a type of cohesive staff that could stay for a while. Not as long as the Clemson staff was able to, you know, under Dabo Swinney, but something like that. Guys who could stay around for 5 years or something. And we have pieces there like that. You know, Greg McMahon has been there for a while. Corey Raymond especially, he's been there forever. He's been there almost, I think, 9 years now. Mickey Joseph has been there quite some time now. I think it's been at least 6 years, 5 or 6 years. There's some pieces there. LSU need to rely on that, and they need to make some changes, though. Mickey Joseph, assistant head coach, he could be the interim head coach. He could be named the head coach coming soon here if Scott Woodward feels the need to pull that trigger, to make that change, to push that button this weekend or this Monday. Is Tell the Truth Monday going to open with Coach O being told the truth about the future with his job? Or is Scott Woodward going to basically tell him, hey, gentleman's agreement, you deserve to finish out the season? I guarantee you, knowing Scott Woodward, he'll probably let Coach O finish out this season his way. But you know what? When you have a guy who just doesn't give a fuck anymore, just completely, you can see it, he just does not give a shit anymore about anything that happens, you got to pull the plug. You got to pull the plug. I mean, he looks like, well, I'll get $17 million. If you don't want me to do things my way, screw you. See ya. I think he's a guy who's been caught way too much in the fast lane lifestyle right in the wake of that title game. It's too much too soon. It's the old adage of too much success and someone who's incapable of handling that success. And it just happened. The personification of that just happened again to LSU at the hands of Kentucky in Lexington. 42 points allowed to Kentucky. They shut us out for 3 3.75 quarters of this game. We scored 21 points, you know, against a tired defense that were just kind of playing in a prevent style. Damn joke. Absolute joke. LSU only 1 for 2 in the red zone. We only were in the red zone twice this game. It's a joke. Only able to sack Will Levis 1 time. Ojulari and I think it was Damone Clark combining for that. Sorry, I got to itch my nose. No, it was Ali Gay. Only 3 tackles for loss for LSU. Mason Smith got in there on a few of those. Ojulari had a nice quarterback hit. Darren Evans had a nice quarterback hit at one point. But then Darren Evans made the stupidest damn penalty of the whole fucking game, where he completely just doesn't play the ball. He plays the guy and just attacks the dude. Like, he completely gets lost. Like, play the damn ball, bro. And better question, why the hell is Darren Evans in there? Why the hell is Corey Raymond putting Darren Evans in there? Where's Dwight McLaughlin? There's times where Eli Ricks was out of the game and Darren Evans was in the game for him. Like, what? What's going on here? Is Eli Ricks hurt? And then Eli Ricks is back in there. So, do we need him out? Do we need him fresh? Like, he's a corner. I get it. It's a tiring, tough position to play. I've played DB in my time, but here's the thing. It's LSU are 3-3. Losing to teams we have no business losing to. This is a game LSU. This is a game I predicted in the preseason LSU to lose. 27-21 in overtime. Losing to Kentucky doesn't surprise me, but at the same time, this Kentucky team should have been shut down by LSU's defense. Will Levis, those two running backs going for plus 100 yards. Get out of here. Some comments. Bayou Macardix Ford, uber sad, pathetic effort showing tonight. 100%, brother. 100%. Wonder who the administration is targeting for opening once when they make the move on O. Yeah, you know, it might be time we discuss that. Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin would be an attractive hire to me because I feel like that's the offensive tempo that would favor our talent. I feel like he could recruit the state really well. I feel like as long as our administration remained loyal to him, which they would, he would remain loyal to LSU. And I think he would kind of discover a gold mine of talent at LSU that he could actually really utilize and get the best out of. You know, even quarterbacks, you know, especially quarterbacks, Max Johnson, Walker Howard coming in, Garrett Nussmeier there on staff. On roster. Lane Kiffin might be a great choice there. I would not be against that at all. He's a volatile guy, but compared to what LSU's seen with fishing holes and all this stuff this last week and wanting to kill people on a radio show and stuff, I think we've seen the gamut. I like Kiffin too, bro. Yeah. Lane, he's not perfect. He's far from perfect, as we saw with the get your popcorn ready, throws the thing, and then gets his ass kicked by Saban. It was almost too funny, but his daring nature, his fearlessness, with I mean, you match that with LSU's talent and LSU's athletic ability and the characters we've got on this team. You know, especially on the younger side. I mean, I'm not really talking about some of the other guys who've given up. I'm talking about the high character guys. Jack Besh, you know, Keishon Butte, Ty Davis Price, Corey Kiner, Max Johnson. But you know, I can go on and on with some of these high character. Cordell Flott, Jay Ward. You know, he made some mistakes, but he still hung in there as well and didn't make too many. Whereas the linebackers, I felt, were just completely all over the place tonight. But there's a lot of stuff, a lot of great players here for him to work with, a lot of great talent for him to work with going forward, especially. It's a great recruiting class coming in from just 2021 and also in 2022. And there's a lot of guys from the 2020 class that we haven't even really begun to even understand, like defensive end Phillip Webb. You know, we barely even seen him. Bryce Langston from this last class, Savion Jones, Landon Jackson. We'll be seeing those guys in time, hopefully. But Mike Jones Jr., Clemson transfer. There's so much talent on this team that's just barely even been talked about. Whoever comes in here would absolutely just strike a gold, purple and gold, baby. Tough times will not last. Believe that. Okay? This sucks right now. And the change might happen. The change might happen at the end of the season. Whatever Scott Woodward deems to be the right way forward, whatever. But Lane Kiffin hopefully should get this job. I'm not really down with the other guys that we reported first on. Bill O'Brien, Chris Peterson being the other two. I really don't like those ideas. Chris Peterson is 100% going to stay retired, according to Bruce Feldman. So, yeah, strike him out of the list. Thank God. Anyway, maybe LSU should hire Bo Pelini. Oh, God. It was a woeful game. No excuses. And you know what? I think it's just... I saw a team that just really gave up. Just didn't give a damn out there. Saw a team that was just ready to just pack it in. Just screw it all. It's a team that embodied their coach. I think the players could get away from all that went down just because they're busy and stuff. Like, no, the players saw that. The fishing hole, don't have sex with that 20-year-old. Now they're like, what? Don't have sex with a 20-year-old? So even if they're unaware of the previous things, the incidents, now they definitely know. Just crazy, just crazy. Just shocking. I really have no more words. I'm fed up. I'm fed up. LSUODYSSEY.com will be having way more content, but you know, for now, I'm gonna eat my dinner. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my night because, you know, I'm gonna go watch the Giants kick the Dodgers' ass on my recording. Game 2. Hopefully, we can make it 2-0 here in the series with the San Francisco Giants. Hopefully they can put away my Blues because, my God, this was embarrassing. 42 points to Kentucky. 42 points to Kentucky. I'm still how far are we going to allow the standards for LSU to drop? How far is LSU going to fall before something comes around and changes? And not only that, but how many of these talented dudes are going to go down with injuries before we finally make some changes there too with the strength and conditioning? Maybe it's not the strength and conditioning, maybe it's the nutrition. Maybe it's both. It's probably both. Because there's just something going on with this program that is just, it needs to be under different leadership. And the sooner, hopefully the better. I'm not sure if an interim coach would be the best way to go for the rest of the season, but whatever Scott Woodward decides, LSUODYSSEY.com will back. We will back fully. I'm just, I need a smoke. I need a cigarette. That was despicable. That was despicable. What do you think about Peterson? Him and Scott have a pass together from their days of Washington. Yep. James Duhan says, what do you think about Peterson? Him and Scott have a pass together from their days at Washington. Yep, that's what we reported a bit ago. This last week, we were maligned and crucified for doing so. But it turned out that, yes, Chris Peterson was going to be, investigated, and he was looked into. But Chris Peterson told them all, no, I'm going to stay retired. And so, yeah, LSU did look into that. But thank God that didn't work out, or the conversations didn't happen. I don't think Scott Woodward would have gone down that way anyway. I think Scott Woodward wants someone who's 100% dialed in, 100% ready, and capable, fundamentally high octane. There's just really despicable performances across the board here, but nothing gets worse than some of the play calling from Jake Peetz. Some of the play calling was just abhorrent. It's great to see Malik Neighbors score his first LSU touchdown, 3 catches, 66 yards, one just crazy touchdown catch where he leaps up there. But it's sad to see Max Johnson's streak of 3+ touchdown passes go down. Every game in the first part of his career, he had 3+ touchdowns. Today, he only had that one to Malik Neighbors. It's just, Butte led the way with 73, Malik with 66, Brian Thomas Jr. at 45, Trey Jenkins with a surprise 39 yards. Jack Besh targeted 10 times, only 3 catches for 20 yards, and was credited with 7 drops. That's not accurate. He did not have 7 drops. A lot of these were overthrown or underthrown passes. They can't be crediting my man with 7 drops there. That's nuts. Seven drops. I watched those plays. He's doing everything he can to possibly get to these horrible throws, and it sucks. I don't want to see people ragging on the players too much and going at them on a personal level and going after them. Like, it's ridiculous, some of the stuff that's been said. Don't do that. Let what's going to happen play itself out. Scott Woodward is the right man for the job. He'll know what to do. There's just it's shocking what LSU has become. It is truly shocking how far LSU has fallen. And it's not just on the field, it's off the field. But here's the thing. It used to be, well, you can keep those two separate, blah, 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 blah. No. Everyone who off the season thought that this team was going to be so great that it could overcome the off-field headlines, all of that turbulence, all of that stuff swirling the program. No. I'm not saying Title IX contributed to these defeats, but it's the culture, the vibe. It's all of it in one. It's the headlines. It's the constant waves of bad news and stuff they hear about that maybe they don't have any more information on, so they just know whispers on. And maybe they ask the coach, and he says, I don't want to hear anything more about it. It's about culture, man. It's about culture. I feel like I'm watching a team without direction. Watching a team without a soul, a central soul to hold on to. It's just very, 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 very bad to see LSU fall this far. It's just. But here's the thing: this program is not screwed up. This program is not dysfunctional. It's this head coach and some of the decisions he's made on the staff. Whoever can come in will have an absolute gold mine to work with. Someone who actually knows what the hell they're doing, when to push the buttons, who to hire for what positions on the staff, which players to recruit, what players are priorities. Stop making political decisions over favoritism and all this blah, blah, blah bullshit. Be a head coach. It's about culture. Give a damn about your kids, not about chasing tail nonstop off the field. Coach Orgeron deserves to lose his job for this game and this game alone. But then you look at the Auburn game. You look at the 2020 season. You look at just the UCLA opening. You look at the off-field shenanigans and comments, but all of it culminates in this before the college football world. We rooted for this guy. We wanted this guy to succeed. And when he succeeded, he thought he was a king. He thought he was above LSU. He thought he was LSU. And that everyone answered to him. The buck stopped with him. Well, okay, if it stops with you, if you have that much responsibility, if you're the king, take responsibility for your shitty kingdom and resign. Free your people and resign. Free your people from your reign and resign. I wanted Coach O to succeed. This is not LSU. This is not LSU. This isn't LSU football. This is a fucking embarrassment. Just the things LSU fans have now habitually begun to accept and grow accustomed to, and begun to, oh, we were familiar with that. It's scaring the shit out of me. Running for less than 40 yards per game. You know, like we had a 100-yard rusher for once, and we are like over the moon. I love that TDP had a huge game tonight. I'm so proud of him. That's my positive thing that I'll take from it. Natalie Vittori, hello, brother. Do you agree that tonight Max was a very bad quarterback? I wouldn't say very bad, but he was poor. He was 5.5 out of 10. This was probably the worst game I've seen him play in an LSU jersey. And I'm a huge Max Johnson supporter, and that's not going to stop. It's not like he should have been benched or something, like some lunatic fans were saying. Like, come on. Like, you're pulling the trigger way too quick. Like, let's calm down a bit here. Max Johnson has not been the problem with this team, though. It's been the offensive line. It's been our inability to be strong in the trenches. We're absolutely been weak as shit. Okay? Look at the hits Max has absorbed and taken. It's been ridiculous. So he's desensitized to this pressure and always having to quicken through his progressions so that even when he has the time, he'll quicken through his progressions. And it's because he's desensitized to the nonstop pressure and the nonstop hits. So it's two things kind of just hurting each other and causing a huge clusterfuck in the backfield. And Max is the victim of the offensive line's horrible play throughout the season. Their careless, ridiculous, lazy play. Good to see you again, or good to hear from you again, Natalie. Thank you so much for sending a comment. It's once again, if you missed anything on this, you can definitely replay every second here or on LSUODYSSEY.com. We've got them both up and running, but it was not Max's best night. But still, going forward, he's the quarterback at LSU. I can see tremendous growth still continuing from him. He still had, look at the numbers he's putting up. Look at the performance he still had. What I want to see from him now is I want to see him finish games. I want to see him really take control, take command. That's what I want to see from Max. I want to see Max go above and beyond. I expect more from him than what he showed tonight, and I have no problem, even though I'm not going to shy away and hide that I am pretty tight with the Johnsons. Brad's always told me, hey, do your job. You know, don't be some overly biased person just because you're tight with us. And that's the facts. Is I think Max had a poor showing tonight, and but you know, he's going to work harder than anybody possibly to make sure that that is in the rearview mirror, and that going forward he can kick some ass and take some names. But once again, he's got to have an offensive line to help him here. It's ridiculous. He's got to have a play caller who knows what the hell he's doing here. I mean, if Max is able to control the tempo, run it at a high pace throughout the game, I think you see a completely different performance from Max Johnson. Everybody, though, I'm going to have to go turn it in, go eat some dinner, and hang out with the fiance because I'm not going to let this game get me down. I'm going to have a great night tonight. Everybody, take it easy. Thank you very much. Oh, one more comment. My prayers tonight for Kayshon Boutte. Yes, prayers indeed for Kayshon Boutte. Hopefully he's okay. My God, it's how many more hits do the Tigers need to take? How many more injuries? We know Ali Gay's out. Kayshon Boutte's out as well as Derek Stingley Jr. and Andre Anthony. It's like, come on, this is just getting crazy. But hey, what else did what would the coach or Ed Orgeron regime be without it being nonstop bad news or crazy? That's what I want to end. Go Tigers.